this is the most important part, folks. So from being arrested, right, for this whole thing, right, from being drug out the woods, beat up by the police, they cuffed my hand to my ankle, drug me out the woods, then tried to recuff me, right, and couldn't recuff me when they searched me because I had an alpha blocker and somebody's head got knocked over their head because they were trying to slam me and do all these other things, and I told them that I can't. But this is the thing, right? So when I was booked into the jail, well, when they tried to book me in the jail, right, and get me out of the police car when they pulled into the jail facility, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk. So they was like, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. I was like, look, dude, I can't walk. They was like, what? My head swole up. My mom has the pictures, I think. But my head was swole up. I could not walk. So I had to crawl. I had to crawl on the floor. I'm talking about like crawl, like with my hands. Crawl like this on the floor into the jail, right? And then it was like, oh my God, everybody, I didn't know what I looked like. Everybody was like, oh my God, what happened to you? People that I knew was like, oh my God, what happened to you? The police did that to you? I'm like, what are you talking about? They was like, bro, you look bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? I look bad. What are you talking about? It's like, bro, you ain't seen yourself? I was like, nah, bro, they found me in the woods. What are you talking about, bro? What happened to me? They was like, I don't know what happened to you. They was like, you need to get up and look in the mirror. I was like, bro, I can't walk. So I got that going. What ended up happening, right? So when they try to book me in the jail, right, I crawl in. They end up putting me in a cell, regular cell, the first cell available, right? Right there, as soon as you crawl in, I walk or crawl in there. I crawl in the cell on my hands, face scraping the ground. I crawl in the cell, right? The lady come in to take pictures of me and told me I need to stand up. I was like, ma'am, I can't stand up. I was like, I can't stand up. I don't even know what happened to me. I don't even know why I'm here, right? So the lady says, you know what? We need to get you to the hospital. So what ends up happening, this is no lie. The person that brought me to the jail said he need his cuffs. He drugged me to the cell with a partition over the bars and drugged me in there on the floor and left me on the floor. And then goddamn the jail fucking what they did was they fucking picked me up. Come on here. They picked me up and put me in the jail little truck thing, and then they took me to the hospital. And then the local hospital where I lived at said that they can't do nothing for me, that I needed to go to Richmond because my brain was bleeding. So I was in the hospital at Richmond for like 3-4 days, right, with no charges, right? I was released to my mom and my dad with no charges, and 7 days later they come and issue felony charges for assault on law enforcement. And that's why I, you know what I'm saying, had to take the plea and all this other stuff and get paperwork proving that they gave me too much anesthesia at the hospital. But yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah, I was in the hospital with my brain bleeding for 3-4 days, couldn't walk, and it was booked into the jail system that I got daggone it in the jail, but I was in the hospital, was never booked in at all. Yeah, watch to the end. Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Bobbysonn News Channel. And since I've been plagued with a lot of propaganda about my record and different things like that, let me talk to you guys on a personal level. So, not exactly sure the date now, but it was a while ago. I was charged with assault on law enforcement, but the funny thing is, I didn't assault anyone. So what ends up happening is, right, I had surgery on my hand, right? I had broke my hand and went 2 weeks without going to the hospital. So with that being said, I think it was like 2.5 weeks or something like that. So what ends up happening is when I go to the doctor's appointment finally, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, they were like, my hand was healing back to, you know what I'm saying, it was healing messed up. So what they had to end up doing is going in my hand, cutting everything, repinning everything, and then, you know what I'm saying, having everything set like that, whatever the case is. So what ends up happening is I get the surgery. Um, I get the surgery, but when they're giving me the anesthesia, right, there's a whole lot going on, right? So I, may have, partied a little bit as a teen, but me partying, I guess maybe I partied a little bit too hard, because when the anesthesia came around, or maybe it was because I had took my medication that I was prescribed. I'm not really sure. But when they gave me the anesthesia, when the girl came back, you know what I'm saying? I was a little bit out of it. I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't asleep. You know what I'm saying? Because when the lady came back, I recognized her. I was like, yo, don't I know you? And I was talking to her. And she was like, are you okay? Are you tired? And I was like, nah. She was like, you lied on your paperwork, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to give you something else. She gave me something else, right? When she gave me something else, I was out, right? So what I remember is waking up in the hospital bed, right? But I couldn't feel my whole right side of my body, right? So when I woke up, this is no lie, when I woke up and turned this way, my arm falls off the bed, hanging like this, like waka, 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 like it's disconnected from my body, but it's in the skin still. It was just hanging. I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like, what did you do to me? What did you do to me? What is going on? What's going on? What's going on? I'm freaking out, right? So, with that being said, I was freaking out, way freaking out. So I didn't feel like myself. Like, I felt like I was out of my body, like I couldn't control my body, but it was weird how I felt. I felt dead, like I wasn't alive, like it was weird. So what ends up happening, I get back to the house, all this and all that, right? My mom drops me off with this crazy girl I was with. Boom. So when I get to the house, the neighbor comes over, excuse me, and he's like, let me get some of that good weed you got. So I told him, I said, look, man, my family's over here, like, I ain't with that. Like, I don't even have none like that. Whatever. Me and him get into it, right? So he says, you think you're better than me. F you, something like that, right? So from there, he pulls out my best friend's knife that my friend asked me, was like, kind of like, he was kind of insinuating I stole it, right? So I'm just like, bro, like, you my friend, like, I wouldn't steal no knife from you. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you be having a whole bunch of shit around me. I ain't never stole nothing from you. What are you talking about? So, you know what I'm saying, kind of drove a void in between me and my friend, because I was like, damn, dude, you're on drugs that bad that you think I would steal from you, bro? Like, that's wild. So, me not feeling like myself, right, I flip out. I told him, I was like, yo, me and him get into it, like, verbally, right? So the dude comes back. So by the time he comes back, me and him is standing right there. So I'm like in a sling. I'm in a sling. So I go back in the house and go get this big, huge blade, right? So I'm like, yo, what's up now? So the girl, his mom, and the girl I'm dating are in the back of his car arguing, right? They're arguing back and forth, like, you, whatever they arguing about. He goes in the house or wherever he goes, right? I'm trying to break them up and tell her to come on. You know what I'm saying? So when I tell her to come on, you know what I'm saying, step in between them, next thing I know, something, I don't know, I thought it was like a little branch like this, like one of these. I thought it was like something like this. I thought it was something like this that could break like real easy like this. You know what I'm saying? That's what I heard. But no, it was a shovel handle hood prop. Like one of them things like somebody in the hood like props their hood up with, but it had a shovel handle on it. He cracked that over my head. So I'm standing there waiting for them, trying to get the girl that I'm dating because she never been in a fight. Next thing I know, I hear like this break over my head like this. Like I turn, and when I turn, it hits me. Boom. I hear this noise in my head. It sets me off. I'm in a sling still. It sets me off to the point that I'm like, I can't believe that you just tried to hit me with a stick. You fucked up. That's what triggered me in my head when I heard the sound over my head. But when I went to turn around, everybody started screaming, and I fell up against the car. Like, boom, fell up against the fender, and I'm like, what the hell? So I go to get up, and I can't walk. Like, I can't walk. I'm discombobulated, right? So I get finally to the house. I get some shoes on. I come out the house. I fall out the house, fall down the stairs. I get up on my feet, and he's standing there, right? So he's standing. I said, you mother. I said, you gonna hit me in my head with a stick? Are you out of your mind? And I go to take a step to him. I'm still in the sling now, and I fall. Boom! Fall, hit my face on the ground. Boom! I get back up. So I'm stumbling. I tell him, I said, look, if you hear when I get back from across the street, I guarantee you ain't never gonna do nothing else wrong again in your life, right? So when I tell him that, I go to turn around and I fall backwards, but I get up again. So I'm finally you know what I'm saying? I'm crawling. I'm crawling across the street, like up the driveway to go across the street, right? So when I finally get to the street, I stand up. I stand up, but I can't see out this whole side. This whole side, I can't see out of my eye, right? And I'm weak on my right side. I can't see out of this eye, but I'm weak on my right side. So what ends up happening, got there going, what ends up happening, got there going, next thing I know, when I'm getting ready to head across the street, but I'm walking like this. I'm walking hella crazy. I remember it. I was walking like this, but I won't jump. Like I couldn't take 2 forward steps. I was going sideways, right? So what ends up happening, when I get to the middle of the street, right? When I get to the middle of the street, in the middle of where the yellow lines is, there's 2 double lines in the middle of the street. When I get to the yellow lines, I turn around because I'm like kept going to the side. So obviously, you know what I'm saying, my vision isn't where I wanted to go. When I look, he's on the phone running up the street the opposite way. Running, like literally running on the phone. So in my head, I'm like, yo, he really about to call the cops after he hit me in the head? Like, is that really what's about to happen? So what happens after that is I run down in the woods to get to my mom's house because obviously I live in the country. I know, like, you know what I'm saying? There's a path from where I was at to go straight to my house, right? In the woods, like dirt bike track type shit. So I'm going to go in the woods and I don't know what happened. I don't remember nothing else. I remember going down in the woods, taking a turn, ducking under the tree, and I don't remember nothing else, right? The next thing I remember is I thought I heard my mom's voice, but I was in so much pain, I felt like that I was like got shot or something. You know what I'm saying? But I don't remember nothing that's happened to me before this, right? Because like I said, I thought this idiot hit me with a stick. So what ends up happening, I wake up, I hear the voice, female's voice. I hear a female's voice, right? I thought it was my mom for some reason, right? So I roll over, I fall over, boom, roll over like this, and I can't see out this eye. I look, and I see guns pointed at me, 2 dogs. I see 7 guns, 5 handguns, and 2 rifles, 2 dogs that's 10 feet away from me. I'm talking about, and we're in the woods. This looked like some shit out of a slave running movie. Like, I'm like, what the hell? But I can't see for real. I don't know. Like I said, I still feel crazy. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't even know if I'm dead or alive at this point because of how I feel. Because for one, I can't move. I can't move my body because of the alpha blocker in my neck. And then I can't move because this motherfucker done bust me over my head and cracked something over my head. So what ends up happening is they got they going grab me up. They grab me because I'm in a sling. They shackle my hand to my foot and grab me up like that, like a piece of luggage, and drag me out the woods. They hit my head on every branch, everything else, right? They throw me in handcuffs and put me in the car, right? So I'm freaking out, like, yo, what the hell? But before they put me in the car, they're like, gee, you got anything on you? I'm like, no. So then they're like, put your hands behind your back. I'm like, I can't. Put your hands behind your back. I'm like, I can't. So it ends up happening. They end up whooping my ass, trying to put my hand behind my back. And I don't have no control over my hand because I have an alpha blocker. So just like I told you, it's just banging and hanging, right? So they're saying, stop resisting, stop resisting. So they're fucking my hand up even more because they don't understand what the fuck is going on, right? So they end up whooping my ass, right? So with them trying to like tussle me around in my arm, like automatically like fleeing back out of reflex because of the alpha blocker that was in my neck. One of the officers or whatever the case is, hat may have got knocked off. That's what it said in the report. I've never assaulted no one. I've never physically made contact. I never drew back, and I never hit nobody. Because for one, I couldn't fucking walk. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they had me shackled, my hand shackled to my fucking foot, took me out the woods. They uncuffed me and tried to cuff me behind my back and said I was resisting arrest when I was in a sling, for one. For two, I had an alpha blocker in my neck. How was I supposed to do anything? So at the end of the day, right, my mom goes to the hospital, gets paperwork saying that there was too much anesthesia and all this other stuff, and I was still charged with assault on law enforcement, which I told my lawyer I didn't do anything. I didn't assault anyone. You know what I'm saying? I look, this is what's going on. If anything, I need to press charges on the person who had my brain bleeding, who didn't get charged, didn't go to jail, didn't even get questioned. That's what we need to do. So my lawyer told me that based on this person's immigration status, that there's nothing you can do. So what ends up happening is I had to fight that case. And they told me that based on everything that was going on, I could take a plea for not guilty by reasons of insanity because I wasn't in my right state of mind at the time. And based on the anesthesia and the brain bleed and the reports there, you know what I'm saying? That's something that I qualify for. So that's how I am not a felon, based on a charge that I should have never had in the first place. Based on everybody's trying to paint me out to be this crazy motherfucker, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about in the first place. But to conclude all bullshit, I was told that I would not get unconditional release, right? I held a job, changed everything that I was doing while I was in there, right? End up guiding other people to get a job and showing them the blueprint of what jobs to get and different things, and talking to my roommate, getting him a job, helping other people get out. Now they got out with conditions, but I'm in the 3% of millions of Americans that got unconditional release based on me proving the doctors wrong, based on me being the person that I said that I was gonna be, not the person that they said that that I meet the standards to qualify to be in society. This is the Bobbysonn News, and this is a real life story of what happened to me. Since that there's people that wanna talk on something and they don't have no idea who I am, what I've been through, or what I'm capable of. But one thing I'm not is a fucking loser. This is the Bobbysonn News. Peace, baby! Welcome to the Bobbysonn News. Like, comment, subscribe, share a video too. Everything is brand new. They be hating me cause my life is a groove. You can be a part of the crew. All you gotta do is like, comment, subscribe. Don't be a hater, because patience is a virtue and you gotta get right. Just change. Live the truth. Don't be insane. Don't be stupid. Don't talk shit. That's something that a menstruating woman do is. Peace! Bye!